Well, good morning, everyone, and thank you for joining our Working from Home and Winning webinar. I'm Juliette Price, and I'm the founder and managing director of Park City, and I'm delighted to be joined today by Stefan Weisenbach. He's the founder of Engagement Multiplier. So, wow, this COVID-19 crisis, this really has accelerated the adoption and the necessity for home working. The British Chamber of Commerce have recently done a survey which shows that more than 1.54 million people are now working from home. That's 60% of the UK adult population working from home during the lockdown. And I think last year, 2019, that was about 32%. That's staggering. As a result, the need and the value of maintaining an engaged and motivated workforce has never been more important, not only to managing through these testing times, but to ensure that when we return to some kind of business normal, whatever that will look like, when restrictions are eased and lockdown is lifted, those key internal business relationships are not only intact, but they're strengthened. Now, this is a tough challenge, as many businesses will be experiencing managing their business processes via remote workers, possibly for the first time ever. So let's hear from Stefan. He is the founder of Engagement Multiplier. Stefan is passionate about the transformational impact of engagement on businesses, and he has spent over 25 years helping business owners to create more connected, more productive and energized teams. As the world is gripped by the COVID-19 pandemic, business owners are seeking help with navigating this change. So in response, Stefan is going to share with us today some simple success strategies that you can implement in your business. His business and hundreds of others are already using them. They really will help you to emerge from the working from home period much, much stronger. I'm pleased to introduce Stefan.
Thank you very much, Juliette, and good morning, everybody, and thank you for joining on this lovely spring day. So today, what I want to do is to talk about working from home and winning. But before I do that, I'd like to talk a little bit, I'd like to provide a bit of context around where we are right now and the opportunity that I see that exists in the current climate. Not to take anything away from COVID-19 and the tragic circumstances and the challenging circumstances, but whenever we have a challenging time, there is opportunity. And I want to just talk a little bit about that, first of all, because I believe passionately that there is a lot of opportunity right now. Three things I want to cover. Firstly, I believe that there is an opportunity to build stronger, more engaged, better connected teams that are able to view the world differently, having gone through this crisis. And then when there's another challenge in the future, being better equipped to deal with it. And there will be other challenges, as there always is. I also believe passionately that there is an opportunity for individuals and businesses to emerge stronger from this. And I also believe that there is an opportunity for us to transform how we do business forever. In many businesses, they are learning that working from home or dealing with the business impacts of COVID-19 is getting them to think about different ways of doing business and different ways of working that actually will transform how we do business forever. And I know that certainly from a personal perspective, that's been the case in our business. So what I want to do today is to share with you some practical tips and some guidance that will enable you to be able to enhance your culture, emerge stronger, and ultimately transform your businesses. As Juliette said, all of the things that we're going to talk about today are things that we are doing in our own business and that we've helped hundreds of businesses to do, and they really do work. Please don't be put off by the simplicity. It's often the simplest ideas that are the best, and all of these are simple and very straightforward. Before we get into those, I'd like to first of all talk about the challenge that businesses face. Now, what we've done recently, the minute COVID-19 came along, we decided as an organization to put purpose before profit and focus on how we could be extraordinarily helpful and useful to the businesses that we serve, to our clients and the communities that we serve. And we set about really diving very quickly and deeply into what are the challenges business owners face. And we spoke to hundreds and hundreds of companies, we surveyed hundreds of businesses, and we found that the top 5 challenges, or the challenges that were shared with us, were able to be grouped under 5 headings. The first one was the fact that we were finding that business owners were saying that they were finding themselves working reactively versus proactively. Understandably, moving into COVID-19, a lot of reactivity. So how can we adopt a progressive and productive mindset and culture in the new normal? And as we go through these, I want you to think about your business and which of these would apply. The second one was fragmented team communication. Second sort of heading, how can we keep everybody on the same page? Third one, ensuring that the right things are being done in the right order. So this is not about micromanaging under working from home. I think there's often a misconception that, when people are working from home, they're watching morning television and they're not actually at their desks and working. In fact, the reverse is normally the case. And I'm sure that for a number of you watching this webinar, you're finding that probably you're not moving about as much. You probably are working longer hours than you normally work. So actually the reverse normally applies, and requiring some discipline to actually step away from doing another Zoom or working at a working from home desk. But ensuring things are being done in the right order, and that everyone's working on the right priorities when a team is working in different locations. Fourth, effective time management. So this is back to the earlier point. How can we help our team to ensure that they're managing their time productively? Not necessarily for themselves, not necessarily for the business. This is about for themselves. How are they managing their time? And I'm going to share some tips with you on that today. And then finally, by no means least, maintaining fun and energy. Really important. When you've got people working from home, particularly in isolation, and they're subjected to the media, and the media obviously has a heavy focus on COVID-19, and it's not particularly uplifting. How can you maintain fun and energy when people are working remotely from home? So I'd like you to just think about those top 5 challenges now. And I'd like you to just make a note of which of those you think are the most relevant in your business right now. So if you had to pick 2 of those, which of those 2 do you think would be the most relevant right now? Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to move on to the first challenge. And what I intend to do on this webinar now is to provide you with a look at the challenge and provide you with some insight that will help you overcome it. So if I could have the next slide, please. The first challenge, working reactively versus proactively. So you just made a note of the 2 challenges that you feel are most applicable in your business right now. And we're going to cover all 5 today. One of the things I find interesting is that your perception may not be the same as the perception of your colleagues. So one of the things that we set about doing as a business at the beginning of this, I'm a big fan of Stephen Covey's 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. And the first one is seek first to understand before being understood. And as a business that runs thousands of surveys confidentially and anonymously every month across hundreds of thousands of employees, we absolutely appreciate the power of understanding what your team is really thinking, because that ignorance is not a strategy, and understanding what your team's really thinking enables you to solve the issues that really need solving. So one of the things that we did at the beginning of COVID-19 was we set about creating an on-demand survey that is completely free, no strings attached. We wanted to be useful and helpful, as I said earlier, to the businesses that we serve. And this is a capability that Park City will be making available to you. It's a confidential and anonymous survey that you can run amongst your team to understand what the challenges are and the opportunities are that your colleagues are experiencing in working from home. It's an incredible set of questions. You get the opportunity to add your own questions in as well. It takes typically less than 10 minutes for your team to complete, and you can literally be set up in minutes and ready to go. So this is a capability that's going to be made available to you at the end of the webinar. we'll be providing you with a unique link where you can actually register for your own free working from home and winning survey. You'll be able to set it up and say you can be up and running within a few minutes of finishing this webinar. And I encourage you to do that, because what that will do is that will very quickly provide you with insight around all of the topics that we're going to talk about today, but also importantly, what we've done in an effort to be very helpful and useful to you is we've spent a lot of time creating a success guide, which is about 15 pages, but goes into a lot of really straightforward, practical advice and guidance on how our clients and other businesses are really coming out of this very much stronger and working from home and winning. So first thing is to understand what your team are thinking. And when you understand what the team are thinking, you can move from working reactively to be focusing and working proactively. So that's the first value point that we want to share. And I'll come back to that at the end of today. The next challenge is, can I have the next slide, please? The next challenge is fragmented team communication. So how do we keep everyone on the same page? And as a business that prides itself on communication, we have a lot of great meetings. And we've put together, before COVID, we put together a meeting structure that we've ended up refining under working from home. And I'm very proud to share this with you today. This is only the second time it's been shared, the concept of an EPIC meeting. So an EPIC meeting, EPIC stands for Energy, Purpose, Insight and Connection. Now don't worry about capturing all of this. We'll be providing this slide and the slides at the end of today's webinar. But effectively, I will summarize for you what an EPIC meeting. An EPIC meeting has energy. It starts with energy. And one of the things that we have all of our team members do at every meeting when we gather together is to have a quick round the room or round the Zoom positive focus. So covering off something that they're feeling great about right now. I just did my morning open up meeting with my team, and the first thing that we spoke about, everyone went round and said something that was great right now. So everyone managed to share something that was positive, and the energy goes up. Every meeting should also have a purpose. So that means an agenda and a clear set of outcomes and deliverables. I know how frustrating it is. I'm sure that, like me, you have been in meetings where there hasn't been a purpose and they've sort of wandered. And then the third thing is often overlooked, very, very important, insight. So at the end of each of the meetings that we have and that you have, once you've started with energy, focused on the purpose, look to solve the issues and achieve the outcomes that you set to achieve in the meeting. At the end of the meeting, and this is, I say, this is normally overlooked, there is an opportunity to really deepen the value by asking each team member to share one piece of insight or learning that they got from that particular meeting. Everyone has a different view of the world, and what's fascinating to me, and this happens in every meeting we do, happened again this morning, how team members will have seen things or got value from a particular topic or area that was focused on, where their perspective and the learning that they've had, when they share it, deepens everyone's appreciation and value. It's really, really powerful. You have this gold sitting within your meetings already. All you've got to do is add that simple section about insight at the end. And the great thing about the EPIC formula is if you focus on energy, purpose, and insight, and you follow that formula that's on the slide here, you will automatically end up with connection as a byproduct. A team will feel better connected to one another and better connected overall. So hopefully that's helpful. It's something that we use day in, day out. It's simple and it's highly effective. So to the next slide, please. The next challenge is ensuring that the right things are being done in the right order, and knowing that everyone's working on the right priorities. In our business, and I hope that in your businesses as well, you have clear objectives. Very important if you're running a business to have clear objectives by department and clear objectives by individual. And in our business, what we do is each of our team members has clear 90-day objectives And we do, every 90 days, we do a 90-day review with everybody. So against that backdrop of clear 90-day objectives, and particularly through COVID-19, there was a need for us to reassess what everyone's objectives were, what the business's objectives were. And then we sat down and said, right, here's our 90-day plan. And then we employ a system called the 3x3x3. And this is something that I've used personally for many years. And for those of you that know me, I know there's a couple of people on the webinar that are familiar with, we know each other. And my son died last year, tragically at the age of 25. And so since then it's been a bit of a challenge. And this particular strategy has been invaluable to me in terms of not only dealing and addressing that, but also moving forward. And it means you start the day and you end the day with focusing on 3 things that are great. So the beginning of the day is you focus on 3 things you're grateful for right now. I do it in the morning when I get up and have my morning coffee, and I write them down. It's impossible for gratitude and negativity to exist in the same moment. And when we're dealing with a challenging situation, and working from home can be challenging, it's great to have this sort of bit of a mindset reboot or reset in the morning, thinking of 3 things you're grateful for right now. Could be a simple thing like the sun shining, could be the fact that you've got some exciting projects to work on that day, could be the fact that your spouse, partner, kids, you had a great evening the night before. So just 3 things you're grateful for. And then looking at your 90-day objectives, or your team looking at their 90-day objectives, picking 3 things that you really want to achieve today. And that if nothing else happened today, those 3 things achieved would mean that the day had been successful. So what we term in our business, the three rocks. And then at the end of the day, writing down the 3 wins that you had from the day. And so in our team meetings, where we connect at the beginning of the day and we connect at the end of the day, which we've done absolutely without fail, with everyone attending since COVID for over 4 weeks now. Everyone covers in the morning the 3 rocks that they have for the day, the three things that they're going to be focusing on. At the beginning of the meeting, in their energy, they share 1 thing they're grateful for right now. So they've already done the work. So it's 1 thing they're grateful for, 3 things they're going to achieve today. And then at the end of the day, when we do our round out meeting, the team shares their 3 wins for the day. And it's not necessarily going to be the same as they got their 3 things done. It's, as we know, that as we go through the day, often things happen that are unexpected. You have a great conversation with a colleague, you learn something you didn't expect, or you speak to a customer and you have a great experience. So sharing those 3 wins at the end of the day is a great way to end the day, and having 3 rocks with a positive focus is a great way to start the day. So really, don't be put off by the simplicity. This is highly effective. And if you do this for 30 days as a team, completely transforms the way the team works. Next slide, please, is effective time management. And as I said earlier, the issue that a lot of individuals are falling into now, and I know it's been certainly the case with me, is it's really easy to sit here working from home and not leave the desk. Zoom after Zoom after Zoom. I've done more video conferencing than I've ever done in my life. And yes, some of it's fantastically effective, but it requires discipline. And I'm reminded of a story I was told by one of my mentors many years ago about a man walking through a wood, and he comes across a guy sweating profusely trying to saw down trees. And there's a few trees down, but this guy's backwards and forwards with his saw, and he asks him what he's doing. And he says, well, can't you see I'm sawing down trees? And he says, well, you look like you're making slow progress. He said, have you thought about stopping to sharpen your saw? And the chap says, can't you see I'm too busy sawing down trees? And I think that's very true with us working from home. It's very easy for us to just continue to saw away without actually taking time out to sharpen. And so one of the things that we encourage very much in our business is the concept of a 50 or 55-minute sprint. Set a timer, go at it hard for 50, 55 minutes, then perhaps step in the garden for a few minutes, have a coffee, step away from your desk. Perhaps, as one of our team members does, they go out into the garden and they do a bunch of squat jumps and then come back in. So just to sort of break that routine, maybe just have a quick chat and a quick connection with someone else that's also working from home, get back to your desk, and then go again. You'll be amazed at when you compare the two scenarios, what you get done doing the sprints with the breaks compared to just slogging it out. So simple, but highly effective. And then next slide, please, maintaining fun and energy. So this is something we were doing before COVID-19, and we've just carried on doing it. It's wonderful. I love it. It's called the weekly energy sheet. So I have a team in Chicago, I have people in London, and we have a team in the Midlands. And so we're not always all together anyway. And under COVID-19, obviously, everyone is working from home. But every Friday, what we do, so this is a document set up in Google Drive. It's called the weekly energy sheet, or the WES for short. And each team member goes in before they finish on a Friday, and they put next to their name what their highlight of the week was, what really worked for them this week. Really easy for our team members to do because they're capturing their 3 wins at the end of every day. And then they are able to then list any working from home wins. And they're also able to call out any team members that they're grateful for, and share gratitude, and also highlight what they're focusing on next week. So as each team member is rounding out the week, they're already thinking before they have a break for the weekend where their key area of focus is. It's a wonderful, wonderful way for team members to not only stay connected to one another, but also to maintain fun and energy. And quite often team members will post fun photos and comments on this. And I have a routine of making a coffee on a Saturday morning and sitting down with my wife and reading the weekly energy sheet. It's a routine we've been into now for several years, and I love it. It's a highly effective way of a team staying connected. So if we could look at the summary here now. So we have the 5 challenges. I'm conscious that I'm racing through this, but this is recorded and we will give you a copy of the slides. I want to be respectful of your time today. So fragmented team communication, run epic meetings, ensuring that teams are doing the right thing in the right order. Make sure you've got quarterly objectives for each team member, and then just employ the 3x3x3 process. It fits perfectly into running a kickoff and a round out meeting at the end of the day. Effective time management, 50 to 55 minute sprints with breaks. And then the weekly energy sheet for understanding and staying connected and maintaining fun and energy. And then in moving reactively to proactively, understanding the insight that your team have, the wonderful wisdom and insight that your team members have that are all currently working from home. I do strongly encourage you to take advantage of running this free working from home and winning survey. It's really simple to implement. And once you've run that survey, we'll provide you with this 15-page wonderful success guide, which is packed full of insights and wisdom to help you navigate the working from home and winning. And over the next few weeks as a business, we are looking to continue to be useful and helpful to you. We will be curating for you a returning to work and winning. So how you capture all of the wonderful benefits and learnings from this challenging period, so that when we go back to our new normal, we make sure that we don't fall into the bad old habits, and the benefits and the things that we've learned from doing this, we can carry into emerging stronger than ever. And then the other capability that we are providing each and every one of you is that at the time that it's right, when things start returning to a bit more normal, we're very pleased to be able to offer you all a free engagement survey. This is the cornerstone of the wonderful technology that we have at Engagement Multiplier, which will enable you to understand through our structure how engaged your team are. And what's going to be fascinating is, as businesses do navigate COVID properly, as they do understand how they can work from home and win, we know that that will have a positive effect on employee engagement too. So we're going to open up now for, I think, a Q&A. Whilst I've been focusing on delivering this, I understand there's been a number of questions coming in. So whoever's running the questions, can they please unmute, and I'm happy to answer any questions that people have.
Thank you, Stefan. That's brilliant. I've got the questions here. David's kindly sent them to me. So I don't know how many we've got time for, but let me kick off with one that I thought was very interesting. Is it hard, Stefan, to get team buy-in?
Interesting question. I'm assuming that's in relation to what, the survey, or was that just the question, just in relation to team? Well, I'll tell you what, I'll answer both.
Yeah.
So if whoever asked this, if it's in relation to the survey, absolutely not. I mean, if you're able to, if you go out to your team members, and the way that our whole template and survey is designed is that this is an opportunity for them to have confidentially, anonymously, have a vote, have a voice. People love the idea of that. They're working from home. They love the idea of being able to give you their opinion on what's working, what's not working. The survey asks some really great questions. And then so our experience is participation is extraordinarily high. I mean, majority of working from home and winning surveys that we've been running, and we've been running hundreds of them, are between 95 and 100% of participation. So if that was the question, no, it's not. And then if the answer is buy-in around these ideas, I think if you just go out to this is one of the problems in most businesses. They assume they know what their employees want. Well, normally we don't. I mean, we've got some ideas, and we might be right in one or two areas, but the smarter way is to go out to your employees, get the information, get the answers, then go back to them with the solutions. And so if you survey your team and they say that, running effective meetings is something, or staying connected, and you go, well, great, that's wonderful. Thanks for sharing that. Most people said that this was a challenge. Therefore, we're going to do this. Well, the team is then completely receptive to and buy into the solution, because the solution is after having listened to them. So if you listen first and act second, much smarter than just imposing, this is a new way of working that we're going to impose upon you without getting their opinion in the first instance. And why I think it's so important to do that free survey first, because it gives you a solid foundation to then implement any new initiatives.
Okay. Someone else has asked, Stefan, thank you for that. They've asked, is it worth doing the survey now when we could be back in the workplace in a matter of weeks?
Yeah, because I think that as we move forward, yes, we might be back in the workplace in a few weeks. In fact, I hope we are. And our returning to work and winning survey will be focusing on that. But there is no question in my mind that, and I'm sure for most of you attending today, there have been some real upsides to working from home. Okay, if we look at it, there's avoiding some of the awful commute from time to time. There's being able to have that peace and productivity. And I think that in most businesses, there are going to be more and more, well, the evidence is out. I'm not going to misquote it, but I saw an astonishing stat yesterday about the number of people that will now work from home for some of the week when we go back to the new normal, because people now understand how to use video conferencing and how to have effective meetings and that kind of thing. So actually getting into a situation where you as a business understand how you can effectively work from home and win is not only relevant now, it's going to be relevant in the new normal. So yes, I absolutely think it's worthwhile. And then to follow that up with, working in the new normal and how engaged your team are is why we put together that success package for the businesses that we normally charge for, but because it's COVID, make it available for free.
Sure. Thank you, Stefan. Just one more quick question. Which do you think is the most important thing to implement out of all the suggestions you've made today? Difficult to pick one.
Well, yeah, no, it's impossible. In fact, I'm going to come back to find out what your team wants first. Otherwise I'm guilty of, contradicting. Find out what your team wants first, and then that will be the most important one to implement. I mean, for you personally, as whichever listener that was that put that, you'll know which one of those is most important for you, because you'll know which of the challenges you're experiencing. or that's the most prominent. But your team members and your colleagues may have different viewpoints. So find out which, and then by all means, look, we're doing all of them. I mean, I suggest you implement them all, but I would focus on, you don't want to overload your team. So if you can find out which of the ones is the most important, implement that, and then quickly then move on to the next one and the next one. They're all very easy to do, but I recommend just doing them sort of in a bit of a sequence so people don't suddenly feel, well, this is a lot of change all at once.
Yeah, sure. Okay. That's fantastic. Thank you, Stefan. I think probably in the interest of time, we've probably got to start to draw it to a close, sadly, because I think we could go on, and there probably are going to be more questions coming through.
Juliet, sorry, I've just seen one question, which it's a very fair point. Thank you, Ian. Yes, I want to make it really clear. We decided as a business, as hard as it is, to put purpose before profit, and we've taken what's clients normally pay for, and we've made it completely free and without strings attached. We wanted to help businesses through this pandemic. So you asked me, thank you for the feedback on the presentation. You asked me, are there any costs associated? Absolutely none. No obligation, no commitment. We just want you to get value from this. We figured, candidly, by helping businesses like yours navigate this crisis, we think that's good business for the future. But there's no strings attached. Please do avail yourself of these free capabilities.
Brilliant. Anything else, Stefan, before I
have nothing else to add. No, thank you very much, everybody, for listening. And I would love to hear about the successes that you have from implementing some of the strategies, because that gives energy for us.
Thank you, Stefan. Well, look, by way of a close now, a huge thank you to Stefan for your time and your contribution today. Two big things that I personally are going to take away and implement. Thanks to Stefan. I'm going to give the 3x3x3 a go. I think that's excellent. I really think that sounds as though that could be really, really positive. And also the epic meetings. You know, I think we're pretty good at running meetings at Park City, but I'm going to review that and actually, you know, use the epic strategy to make sure that, you know, we're making the best value out of that. So huge thank you to Stefan for that. I really, really can't thank you enough. Thank you also to David and Jane for the technical support. That's been awesome. And last but by no means least, thank you so much to all of you that have attended today. We hope that you've got some nuggets, some golden nuggets, some winning strategies there that you can implement in your business today. And I've got to say, from Park City's perspective, we're confident that through our partnership with Engagement Multiplier and our close working relationships with our clients, our clients, the process of managing the home workers and ensuring that the critical elements of things like maintaining motivation and morale, a sense of belonging, social interaction, good communication, recognition, and team interaction. And don't forget that needs to be both with their manager and, importantly, without their manager present. So the team must interact. Positive leadership and listening skills. And all of these things really are supported by the use of the Working from Home and Winning survey platform. So we're very excited about it. We're using it in Park City. Highly recommend it to all of our clients. For further information, I think there's some information on the last slide there. Please do visit Park City's website, contact our office. We've got everything up and running there for you. And we're happy to help you through the process and make sure that you get best business value from it. Please, everyone, stay home, stay safe, everyone, and best wishes from me, from Stefan, and from our respective teams. Have a great day. Thank you very much.